Hello everybody, welcome to my first episode of my vlog. We're going to talk about building the perfect real estate website, and I'm going to walk you through a lot of what to do as far as getting that set up, the kind of the decisions you need to make, and kind of guide you in the right direction regarding your web hosting and your web packages that you want to select. So let's dive in. So what you see here is a real example of a real estate website that I've gone ahead and set up, and we're going to use this as a guide during our demonstration. The first thing I want to take you to is not the website, but we're going to go take a look at some of the different web hosting companies you could choose from and what kind of web packages you want to pick for your real estate website. So let's go take a look at those now. So I've gone ahead and gone to Google and done a web search for web hosting. And what you see here is the first page of results. And that's going to be some of the biggest and most popular web hosting companies available right now. You know, we have Bluehost, GoDaddy, SiteGround, DreamHost, Hostinger, and HostGator. Those are probably some of the most popular web hosting companies available, and all of them are great, and some of them I wouldn't recommend just from personal experience, and some of them I would recommend. For me personally, I've used HostGator and Bluehost and GoDaddy, and out of all those three, I would recommend going with GoDaddy, just from ease of use, and you know, a couple the other ones like Bluehost and HostGator, I've run into a couple of pain points using them for web hosting. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the packages you can choose from on GoDaddy. Okay, so I've gone ahead and opened the GoDaddy website, and let's go ahead and take a look at some of the packages they offer for web hosting. So here we go, web hosting. Let's go ahead and open that up and let's see what kind of stuff they have to offer. So let me talk about one thing first. So when you go to web hosting, you're going to get a lot of choices from stuff they call shared hosting. There's a new product out there called WordPress hosting. There's Windows hosting. There's VPS hosting, dedicated servers. There's a lot to choose from. And you're a business owner, you're starting out, you've never seen this before. And what I want to do is kind of get you started, guide you away from the things you don't need to worry about right now, and point you in the right direction. So what you need for your website starting out, you don't have a lot of demand on your website. You don't have 100,000 visitors coming to your website. You don't have any specialty software that's running on your website for sales or e-commerce or any communication or technology like that. So you're going to be able to use one of a lower cost package like the shared hosting packages that they have to offer. And what that means when I say shared hosting, it means that your website is going to be hosted on a computer with any number of different websites. They all work independently, but technically they are all run by one computer in a server rack in a data center for GoDaddy. So, you know, they save money that way. It'll perform the same way. Nobody shares any information. It's completely secure, and it provides a really, really, really cost-friendly option if you're just starting out with your website. So let's dive into some of these shared hosting plans, and I'll kind of explain what they're offering. Okay, so what we have here are 4 of the shared hosting packages that GoDaddy offers. They are priced from lowest to highest, and they kind of each offer. They start out the same, and they progressively get a little bit better and better, and they also tend to add a few more options to your package. So, for the purposes of your real estate website, you're starting out. You might not need, the maximum performance. You're more than welcome to go with this package. Uh, the standard performance in the first package, that could very well suit your needs, and then you're saving, $14 a month for the first year. So you break that down, you start looking into some more of the details for the packages. You see the first package is just one website. The next package is unlimited websites. Storage, 100 gigabytes of storage for the economy package. Unlimited. 100 gigabytes of storage is a lot for a website. I've never seen a website get any bigger than maybe, 100 megabytes. So 100 gigabytes is a lot of storage. 10 databases versus unlimited or 25 databases. One install of WordPress is going to create one database, and that database holds everything for your website. You would only create new databases for anything additional that you might want to run on your server. So 10 is fine. So as you progress into a little bit more of the expensive packages or the higher end packages, you start seeing a few more options they add on, like free premium DNS. Not quite sure what the difference between a premium DNS and the DNS that everybody else uses. So I'm not quite sure. They may be, what they do with DNSs is when you purchase a DNS, it will have all your private information on there as far as your address and your name, and that is available on the internet, unless you want to, mask that or hide that information. It looks like they're offering that included in the package. Otherwise, it would be $36 a year to prevent that. And it's a good thing to have, because a lot of people crawl the web for names and addresses and emails, and the DNS records is a good place to crawl for new businesses. And it's, if you don't hide it, you're gonna start getting a lot of spam. So that's probably something to look into. So here's another option in the maximum plan is a free unlimited SSL for your website. That's actually pretty good. An SSL is something you buy, and it basically offers security for your website. Sometimes you can go to a website and there'll be a little lock on the website. For example, right here in GoDaddy, they have the lock. So what that means is they have a SSL certificate, which means this website is authenticated, and anything that comes back and forth from that server is also encrypted. So when you're purchasing anything, when you send them your credit card number, that information is encrypted, and hackers can't jump into that data that's being sent and scoop your information out of there. So that's actually a good thing. Again, it's on this multi-domain, unlimited websites package. If you wanted to just get one SSL certificate, or you're looking at maybe $30 a year. So it may be something you want to look at and price out accordingly. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is domain names and domain name extensions. So when you're going to create your domain name for your real estate website, I always recommend that you pick something that's short and easy to remember. The reason why is you're going to tell people your website address a lot, and you're also going to tell people your email address a lot. And if you have a really long domain name, people might misspell it. You have to go through, spelling out your domain name. So keep that simple, keep it short. Uh, if you have trouble finding your business name as a domain name, you could get creative with it. You could use hyphens. You could abbreviate the whole thing. You could abbreviate parts of it. You could add, you know, for example, this is North Carolina, so you could have your business name, NC dot whatever. Uh, and then getting into extensions, a lot of the .com addresses have already been gathered up by other domain name owners. So that leaves us with, .net, .org. But I also wanted to kind of show you guys there are new domain name extensions that are coming out that are pretty creative. So I wanted to take a quick look at those and show you those. Let's go to, I'm going to show you some of these domain names here that are available. .agency is a good one. Some other ones you may find, you'd have to do a search because there are thousands of these available. Um, and some of them can get pretty pricey. The reason they do that is because, there's more demand for them. So take a look and do a search if you want a unique extension on your domain name. I think it's pretty cool, but check that out. So that's it on domain names. We're going to get into the fun stuff next, and that's actually getting in there and start setting up your site. So follow me along in the next video. Okay, so now we've got our web hosting set up, we've got our domain set up, we can access our account. So what do we do next? So if you've purchased a shared hosting package with cPanel, what you're going to have to do is download WordPress and install it and run the setup for WordPress. And after you do that, you'll be able to log into your WordPress website. If you purchased WordPress hosting from your web hosting company, this should already be set up for you, and you should be able to go directly to the login screen. So for our shared web hosting package users, let's go ahead and get into your account, and I'm going to show you some of the steps you need to take to set up WordPress. Okay, so let's go ahead and access cPanel. Your cPanel may look different than my cPanel. Some web hosting providers take this default cPanel away and kind of do their own style of cPanel. Well, once you're in cPanel, what we need to do first is go ahead and find File Manager. And mine is available right here at the top. If you're having trouble finding it, you could always, type it in the search area and find File Manager. So go ahead and open up File Manager, and that'll open up a new tab. And in that tab, you're going to see your root folder directory. And everything in here is for running your server. And you don't really need to change anything in this root folder. So go ahead and you're going to look for your public HTML folder. Sometimes this folder is named a little different. It may be public or it may be HTML. Usually it's going to have the HTML or the public with it. So find public HTML or your version, go ahead and click on that, and that'll take you to your website's root folder. So everything in this folder gets loaded when somebody enters your domain name. The domain name goes from the IP address to this public HTML. Anything in this folder gets loaded as your web page. By default, I've already have my WordPress installed on this server. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you where to go download that and install it. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so let's go ahead and download WordPress. So open up Google and type in WordPress and search. And you're going to look for WordPress.org. Or down here below that is WordPress.org.download get WordPress. So we're going to click on that, and it will take us to the download page for the latest version of WordPress. And here we have WordPress 5.6, and we could go ahead and download that, and we'll wait for that to download. It's not a terribly large file, but once that's downloading, let's go ahead and go back to our cPanel, and where we have our public HTML folder open, and yours will probably just have this CG bin in it without all these folders with the abbreviation WP, which stands for WordPress. So up here in the top toolbar or panel, there's upload. So you can select upload, and that's going to take you to where you could select your file, and you're going to upload that zip file. So let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and upload it, and then I'll just delete it as well, because I already have it installed. So we'll just run the install, not the install, the upload. Okay, 100% complete. So now you know that the upload is complete. So we're going to click on go back to public HTML folder. Now in here, you'll see that I have WordPress 5.6.zip loaded. What you're going to do is you're going to right click on this folder, and I'm not going to extract all these files because I already have it installed, but you're going to select extract, and by default it'll select public HTML folder, and you could do an extract, and then all these files should be in the folder. In the event that this extract puts it into a folder inside your public HTML folder by accident, or if you make a mistake, just go into that folder, select all the files in there, and right click, and you can move it back to, you can move these folders and files back to public HTML. So then you'll be actually in the correct root folder for all your WordPress files will be in there. And once that is extracted and set up, and you enter your domain name in your browser, you should end up on a page similar to this. And this is the first page of the WordPress installation. And next I want to take you through doing the setup for WordPress. Okay, congratulations. You've made it this far, and you're able to see the WordPress installation page 1, where it's asking you to what language you want to set up WordPress in. A couple of things I want to do before we start this installation is WordPress is going to need a database to run off of. And let me take you back to cPanel and show you where to set up that database. So go ahead and go back to your cPanel, and you're going to look for the MySQL databases, and click on that, and this is where you're going to create a new database. So they've kind of given, they're going to give you a database. It's going to be, in my version, they've given kind of a they've named it, and then underscore, and then you'll name your database. You can name it anything you want. But once you create that database, what you're going to need to do then is create a user for your database. And that user is going to have a username and a password. That'll give that user access to the data that your website, WordPress website, is going to need to run off of. Select any name you want, make it short and sweet so you can remember it during the installation process, so you don't waste time going back and searching for that. You're going to need a pretty strong password, so use a password generator. And once your user is created, now you have to add it to that database. So, in this example, let's see, we have samples as the user, and we're going to connect to the database. So after you do add, it's going to take you to a new screen, and that screen is going to be the user permissions. There will be a checkbox that says all privileges. Go ahead and check that, and then scroll down and click save, and that should be it. Your user should be set up and your database should be set up. So after that's complete, go ahead and come back to your setup screen, and let's walk through this. Okay, so we're back at our setup screen for WordPress. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go with the default English and click continue. It's going to go ahead and ask me if I've created a database with a database name, a database user, database password, and the host, and table prefixes. So what we're going to do is go ahead and select Let's Go, and what you're going to do is enter all the information for your database here. So you know the database name, and you need to put in the complete database name. That would include, you'll find it right here, everything prior to the underscore and then your name. Then username, same situation, your complete username, the password that was auto-generated. You're going to keep localhost in there as the database host, and your table prefix. Now WordPress will go ahead and put WP underscore in there. They recommend, for security reasons, is go ahead and create your own prefix, and that'll make your database a little bit secure from hackers, because if they don't know, they know WP underscore is the default, and they search databases and database tables with that underscore. If you create your own unique name, it's going to be harder for them to crawl your database and attack your database. So I'm not going to click submit. I'm not going to run through the rest of this. The next page is going to ask you your website name, your website tagline, a admin email to enter to receive any alerts or messages from your WordPress website. And if everything is connected and the passwords are correct, it'll say congratulations, and it's going to take you to a login screen similar to this, which is good. Success. Everything's good. Now, in our next video, we'll go ahead and log in, and we'll get into WordPress and installing your theme, and show installing some demo data so you can actually see your website and go ahead and start adding your information to that. Okay, so you've logged into WordPress, and now you're at your dashboard. Hooray, success, you did it. So let's take a look at our dashboard real quick. To the left, you may not have these options yet. I have a few more options because I've gone ahead and installed some plugins. The options available on here to the left are, pages. That's going to take you to where you could add pages to your website. Posts are a little different. Posts are like if you do a blog post, for example, this is where you're going to enter that post. Up the top here, you're going to notice where you could actually view your site. So I'm going to go ahead and open that in a new tab, and we're going to take a look at the website that we've installed. And here it is. It looks awesome, doesn't it? I mean, you've got just some text and a search bar and recent posts, recent comments. You know, first look at this, you're going to be like, what the heck? Uh, this isn't a problem. This is just WordPress's default settings. What we're going to do is take you to a website where you could find a theme for your real estate website, and I'm going to show you how to install that and go ahead and take care of some of the default settings in WordPress so your new theme is working correctly. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at that. Okay, so let's go back to our WordPress dashboard, and I want you to find the tab called Appearance, and in Appearance you're going to see a button or link called Themes, and go ahead and click on that, and that's going to open your dashboard for your themes. So by default you should have these themes: 2019, 2020, and 21. Those are the default themes that come with your WordPress installation file, and they get installed automatically. You don't need to use these. Actually, when you finally have a theme installed, you want to go ahead and delete these default themes. So where do we get a theme? How do you install a theme? Let's go ahead and take a look at where we could find a theme and how to install that. So by default, if you did click on Add New before you had a theme, you do have some options, some free options for themes through WordPress. And these aren't bad. They're not great. They're free, but it could give you a good starting point if you wanted to save a little money on a theme. But what we're going to do is go ahead and take a look at where we can find a theme. And if you're going to purchase the theme, I recommend going to a page called Theme Forest. And Theme Forest is a web page specifically for web page themes. It includes WordPress. You could do HTML. There are a couple of different CMS systems that they do themes for, and there are a lot of options and choices to choose from. I've gone ahead and entered in a search for real estate themes for WordPress, and it's given me 1,400 WordPress themes related to real estate. So as you scroll through, you're seeing different themes that may look like what you want to do and the price of that theme. So find one that you like. I've gone ahead and gone with Houses Real Estate WordPress theme and purchased that. This is a good one because when you purchase the theme, it also gives you several options of what your real estate website will look like. Not necessarily your first option that you saw on the picture. Like if you go to demos, we're now on Houses' demo website, and you could look at all these different demos you can install as your website. So you have some choices to pick from, which is pretty cool. A lot of themes are starting to do this, where you buy one theme and it's going to go ahead and give you several different designs that you could choose from. So you're not limited to just the one theme. So find one you like, purchase it, then you're going to download it. After you've downloaded that theme, you're going to go to that download folder, and I'm going to show you what you need to do next as far as installing that theme. So let's go ahead and take a look at that next. Okay, so you purchased this theme and you've downloaded the zip file. So go ahead and go to the zip file, and you're going to extract everything in that zip file. So once you extract it, you want to go ahead and enter that folder. and I am not using a Mac, I'm on Windows, so I'm going to go into this main folder. Okay, so there are a lot of folders here in this theme document, this folder. So it's going to give you everything you need for your theme. It's going to give you the plugins that are necessary to run that theme. It's going to give you templates that may go along with it. It's going to give you, in this case, House Z has given a CVS properties listing import file that you could use. There are calendar skins. This may be something that we're going to look at later when we set up a calendar view. Houses and houses hyphen child. What is that? So, and then houses child zip. So when you purchase a theme, you're going to get the theme file. You may also get the theme file -child version. And what is that? Well, when you're doing your installation, and let's go ahead and get back to our themes area, I've gone ahead and installed it. So you're going to install both those themes. So houses and houses child are both installed here, but you're only going to activate the child version. And what that means in WordPress is you're using House Z, but you've gone ahead and created a child theme for it, which is something you can make modifications to, and you're not changing the root theme. If you could make changes to this theme, but if their update came along and you updated this theme with the new update, it could overwrite all your changes, which is not good. So what you want to do is upload the House Z child, and in the case you're modifying any parts of the theme, you keep your changes, and if you do an update, it just updates the root House Z. So what you want to do is go ahead and click on Add New and upload theme, and this gives you the area where you could choose your file. You're going to go ahead and find that zip file, and House C and House ZG child, and go ahead and install that, and go ahead and activate child. And next I'm going to show you how to select your demo data for that. So we'll take a look at that next. And the last thing I wanted to show you are some of my recommended plugins I would suggest that you install on your website to begin with. Let's go and check those out. So, and I'll provide links to these on the video description. So let's go ahead and open up, click on your plugins tab, and we'll go to installed plugins. This is going to look a little different because the type of WordPress I'm running here is a multi-site WordPress. So it's going to actually show all the plugins that I've installed. There are 8 websites running on here, so all the plugins are listed for all those different 8 websites. But I'll just quickly run through these, and then I'll also post the links. You know, these are the recommended plugins. Houses, CRM, login, register, houses, those are all for the theme. The one-click demo importer, that's with the theme. Slider Revolution is with the theme. Okay, our first plugin that isn't mandatory for the theme, but I highly recommend, is W3 Total Cache. And that's a cool plugin that speeds up your website's load time, fixes some of those issues, and that's a mandatory plugin. There are some other plugins that do the same thing, but this one I prefer to use. It's is a bit of a learning curve. I'm going to do a video later on about setting up W3 total cache for your website, how to fix all these issues that can occur that can slow down your website. And a faster website will rank higher on Google. The next one I recommend is WordFence Security. This is a very good plugin for blocking hackers, spammers, anybody that's doing any malicious activity on the internet. And you could actually block IPs, block countries that you don't want to have access. If you're getting a lot of spam from India or China, you could block those out. Another useful plugin that I recommend is Yoast. Yoast is an SEO tool that will help you get all your pages SEO friendly. It'll give you recommendations, and it'll check your pages for things that you might have missed that you need to add, and it'll do that for each page. It'll also grade your content if it's good enough for SEO, the writing style, and that sort of thing. Another useful plugin is Contact Form 7. This is a really lightweight contact form tool that I recommend. There are a lot more that give you a lot more options of click dragging elements into your form and creating cool forms that look good. You could do the same with Contact Form 7. It's just going to be lightweight and not cause a lot of load time on your website like some of these other plugins that click drag and that sort of thing. Another plugin that I recommend, a few more here, are Monster Insight. That is going to be, let's see if it's here. If it's not here, I'll just tell you about it. Monster Insight is a tool. It gives you a lot of options. My favorite part of the tool that I use, and just use it for that, is linking to my Google Analytics page. And there's more in there if you want to dig into that. It gives you analytic views and that sort of thing, but I go to Google Analytics and look at all that stuff. And the last plugin I want to recommend is WP Mail SMTP. And this is probably going to be a lifesaver in your business, because what this does is, if you set up your website and you create a form or create anything that's going to send out mail to either you as an administrator or a customer or client, it's going to go right into the junk mail folder. There's no getting around it. If you're creating a website and you send mail from it, it's going to get blacklisted and it's going to go right into the junk mail folder. Now, it's not because your mail's junk or your server is blacklisted or bad. It's just, that's just the default that they do. Any servers that aren't established and there's mail coming out of those, they're gonna send that to the junk mail folder. Now, what SMTP does is it connects to a verified email service like Gmail, or I use Office 365. So I connect it to my Office 365 email account, put in my login and password, and any mail that gets sent from my website gets sent to Office 365 first, and then it goes to the recipient, and it goes directly into their inbox. So it doesn't get flagged as junk mail, and it'll show up in your client or user's inbox instead of their junk mail file. So that's a super good tool to use, and I highly recommend it. So we did the demo data. We've got plugins installed. The next steps are starting to create content and get these real estate features set up, like linking to your MLS data for your area, and different parts that we're going to go over as far as capturing leads, designing pages so they are more, I guess you would say, sales are important, but it's also important that you are marketing your business and identifying how it's, better to go with your business, or separating yourself from the rest of the real estate industry, making an impression on somebody. So that's going to wrap up this video. I hope it was super informative. Thank you for watching. I know it was a little bit long. We're well over 30 minutes now, and I hope it helps you get your Raleigh real estate website up and running. So catch me on our next post, and we'll start diving into some of these real estate website features that need to connect to the databases and that sort of thing. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.